Welcome to the Power Lunch live on LinkedIn. I'm Rhett Power, your host. We do this program every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday around 12 noon, if we can get it off on time. That didn't really sound right, sorry. Anyway, I will be, the point of the show is that we talk to thought leaders, best-selling authors, CEOs, and corporate leaders about their secrets to success. We try to learn from them, find out what they do that can help us be better at what we do. Now, the fun part about this show is that it's interactive. We can take questions from the audience. So make sure to ask your questions and engage with our guest. They're here to really help you. We simulcast this on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube with the help of Social Live. Now, if you like the program, give it a like or share so that others can benefit from what our guests are sharing with us today. Now, I always promise to bring you the best. Today is no exception. I've got Jason McDonald. He's an expert in SEO, social media marketing, and AdWords things. Two things I'm really curious about, the SEO and AdWords, to learn more about. And he's got multiple books. It would take me another 10 minutes to list all of them. He's a prolific author, and he writes on those same topics. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. He's also got a new book, correct me if I'm wrong, about job search and career building in the digital age. That's coming out soon. Is that coming out, Jason? Is that coming out soon?
That actually is an old book. So my job book is maybe 3 years old,
Okay.
And it's a funny sort of thing. I'm getting enough inquiries on it that I am considering redoing it, but more as a personal branding book.
Okay.
That's really what that focus of that book is.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah. I know you're just getting back for some business travel, so I appreciate you taking the time, and I know you got to get caught up, but I know how that is. But what is the? I guess I'm curious. Explain SEO in a nutshell and why it's so important? Because I think, to me, when you go about building websites, everybody does that. We go through all the trouble of doing all of that, but I don't think we think about SEO.
Yeah, so SEO, search engine optimization, really it's the kind of art and science of building your website so that it shows at the top of Google search queries that are relevant to your business. So really simple example, you're a pizza restaurant in Houston and you want people who go to Houston or near your restaurant, they type in pizza, you want your website to rank at the top of that Google search, and you've got to do a whole bunch of things, which we can talk about, with your website and your Google My Business listing to show at the top. Now, just to put an idea out there that I think is really interesting for people is that SEO sort of traditionally has been around Google, and obviously it still is, right? But SEO as a kind of a concept is really useful for Amazon, it's useful for eBay, it's useful for Airbnb, it's useful for Yelp. So there are many of these niche search engines, if you call Amazon a niche, everything that you buy on Amazon, that have many similar characteristics to Google. So SEO is the art of getting to the top of some type of search engine. Could be Google, could be Amazon, could be Airbnb, could be eBay, could be Yelp. It's a similar strategy. They're different, but there's similarities across all of those. That's what SEO is. And flip it around. It's like an if-then statement. If the customer types in pizza, I want to be at the top of Google, Yelp, whatever, so I get that opportunity to potentially serve that customer's need.
Is it something that happens, over time, or is it something that you really have to say, okay, I'm looking for keywords that people are searching for, and I'm going to make sure that that's on my front page? How,
Yeah.
Because I guess I want to get down into the sort of weeds.
Right. Well, so basically it happens through a process of black magic. You need to take a pot and put it in the backyard and put some, snails and some frogs in it and burn it. And then you sprinkle that on your web developer. And that's really how it works. That's one technique. Another way to think about it more seriously is my SEO book's called the Fitness Workbook. It's a little bit like getting fit, right? You have to have goals. Like, do I want to go to the Olympics? Well, what sport, right? Do I want to be a pole vaulter, or do I want to be an Olympic swimmer? What is the sport, AKA what is the key word, right? And then there's a process that you have to go through of really high value, simple things to do your website. Like, here's a, to do for your readership or your people watching, right? If you want to rank for Pizza Houston or Italian Food Houston, you need to optimize the homepage of your website. The title tag of the homepage needs to say Pizza Houston or Pizzeria Houston. Many people will contact me and they'll say, well, I don't rank for Google. I'm a pool designer in Tallahassee, and I'll look at their website and the homepage title tag is home, right? So it's like, well, you're never going to rank because you're not even pointed the right direction.
Okay.
Right. So it's a process of first knowing what are the keyword targets that you care about, which is relevant to your target customers, and then looking at your highest value things to do first, second, third. Like, if you want to go to the Olympics, stop eating at McDonald's every day, right? If you want to be the Olympics, walk around the block, be able to do that, right? There's minimal things you need to do. And then over time, you've got to graduate to more difficult things. And then like fitness, right? You can't neglect it. You have to stay with it. You have to do some things every week, every month to stay at the top, or you'll degrade.
Right. Is there a place where you can go to sort of find keywords? Let's say I am the pool designer, and I think that's what you said, in Tallahassee, right? Is there is there a website? Is there a place where I can go to see what the popular keywords are for people searching for pool design or pool?
Yeah, multitudes of them. Multitudes of them. I'm a huge believer in basics and simple stuff.
Okay.
One of the best things you can do is, open up your web browser, go to Google, type in pool designer, and then just look at what the suggestions are that pop up on Google. Type in pool designer space A, space B, space C. That Google autocomplete is going to really help you just get the basics, right?
Okay.
I produce tool books for free, so people can Google me and then get my tool books of all the free tools. Another really good one is Ubersuggest. You can just Google Ubersuggest. That tool will really help you. There's a free tool called Twin Words. Again, you can Google that. Those are all free tools where you put in a kind of what they call a seed keyword. You put in pool design, pool designer, swimming pool, and it helps you kind of realize it's pool design, swimming pool designer, custom pool. You just that's so one of those tools. And there is a tool in Google AdWords called the AdWords Keyword Planner. Unfortunately, Google being evil, they have constricted the data. Unless you advertise and pay money, you don't really get good data out of that tool anymore. So I would use Ubersuggest, Twin Word tool. Another really good tool is to get your favorite alcoholic beverage and just start drinking and just write on a whiteboard. If I'm looking for a pool, right? Pool design, right. And the more you drink, the better you get. Custom pool, make a pool, and you'll just spit all that out. That gets your starter keywords. Always like, hey, if I was a customer and I'm hungry, and I'm looking for pizza, what am I going to Google? Pizza, pizzeria, best pizza, Italian food. You can, the more you drink, the easier the words come. Right. And then you take those words, put them into Twin Words tool, Ubersuggest, and you get a good laundry list of what your target. Those are called your targets.
Right. How long is it?
Now you're off to the races. You got your targets.
Well, so let's say you optimize your site. You put your words and you put all those words in there. You've done your homework there. How long does it take really for you to start rising up in the rankings? Yeah,
so that's a common question. So a couple of sort of big picture things. So there's in SEO, there's what's called on page and off page. On page, how do you build your website? How does your website talk to Google? That's the easy part of SEO because you just get your website in the right order talking to Google. And then there's off page, that's your links, people who link to you, and customer reviews, especially for local businesses.
Okay.
Simple here, right? Now, so you want to rank for Google. How long does it take? Well, first, we're going to assume you know your keywords, and then you're going to optimize your website, and then anymore, Google will pick that data up pretty quickly, and it depends on competition, right? If you're something really, really esoteric, iguana pet boarding in Houston, right? No, it's not hard to rank for. Once you fix your website, you'll often rank with no additional effort, no off-page needed. But if you're a personal injury lawyer in Miami, it's going to take some firepower to get you to the top. So in that case, it may take longer and it may take more effort because it's more competitive. So it varies. Google, go to Google, type in Google Search Console. You can go to Google Search Console and sign up, and you can kind of hit a button to re-index your website. So back to process, I fix my website, I go to Google Search Console, I have it re-index my website. That can be literally a day. I just did it for a new client of mine. A day, took a day, and they're ranking for some of their some of their easy keywords are already ranking for. Depends.
How do you, because I get solicitations all the time. Oh, you need to fix your website. And
actually, I do too. The IRS just called. I'm going to be arrested at any moment.
That's your answer. I got it.
Yeah, and Kate from Google keeps calling me, and she'd like to fix my listing. Hello, Google will not call you.
Is it worth paying somebody to do it, or is that you think it's something that a lot of people can
yes and no. Yes and no. So the SEO industry, my beloved SEO industry, is really full of what I would call scoundrels and thieves. That's 80% of them. And the trick is to find the 20% who are relatively honest. So you can hire an outside person. They
needed that firepower, right? You're that firepower you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I do this, right? Other people, So if you're a business owner, the way I look at it is, if you were going to go have heart surgery, you might Google the person and, do they actually have a medical degree, and ask for some references, and then be active. You want to, back to, I love analogies. If you're going to have a major surgery, you want to do your homework, and you want to be in charge as a patient. What do I really want? Because there's risk and benefits.
Right.
So you can't just outsource it and forget it. Okay. But you can hire people to help you, but you need to do your homework. Do they have references? Do they have projects? Can they give you some credibility that they kind of know what they're doing? And there's a lot of just idiots, to use a technical term, who are not helpful, and you want to watch out for those people. And there are thieves. There are thieves on the, newsflash, there's thieves on the internet, right?
Don't believe all of them.
News.
That is not fake news. That is
fake news. I've had people call me on the phone, and I was in a law. I say I was doing expert witness work. I was in a lawsuit, shall remain nameless, $1.5 million. Did they check the references of the person? Nope, not a single reference. They spent $1.5 million on SEO services. They got zero.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, I'm not kidding you.
Insane.
And you're just like, wow, this is like malpractice at so many levels. And it was just a scam.
And it's because it's this mystery, right? Yeah.
I mean, I'm a very much believer in analogies, right? So to use the fitness analogy, right? So if you want to go to the Olympics, right? You want to be an Olympic wrestler, right? Or something like that, right? Now, somebody's going to come to you and say, I have this magic drug. I'm going to give you this drug. It's going to make you a wrestler tomorrow. Would you believe that?
No.
Or if somebody says, no, you're going to have to work for this, right? You're going to have to do something, right? And so the problem with SEO is, you're right, because people think of it as black magic. Someone will call and say, I've got the secret sauce, and it's amazing, and it's going to work. And just give me, no. It's not going to work.
Hey, run away.
Run away. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. But simple things, some hard work, some discipline, you can make an enormous impact on your business through
time, right? It's just, none of this is magic, right? Some of it just takes time and continual tweaking and working on the line. I mean, it just, right? It's not, there's, in some ways, it's not magic to it. I mean, it's just.
That's right. It's, many ways, it's not magic. I'm a huge believer in the basics, right? It's like, what's the first thing? Realization that you want to do it. I want to be at the top of Google for search query X. What's the second thing? I don't know how this works. So go to Google and put in SEO tutorial, and you'll find just basic tutorials. Moz.com has a good one. Backlinko has a good one. There's a Google SEO starter guide that's decent. I have books if you want to, spend a crazy sum of money, like $29. And then, okay, I've educated myself. And then as you indicate, the next question is, how much do I want to do myself as the business owner? And how much do I want to hire someone to help me? How much do I know a coach or someone? And then off you go, step by step. But really basic stuff, high return on investment.
If you can do that, I almost feel like you've got to educate yourself, right? Like read your books, and then you know enough to ask the right questions. Absolutely.
You've got to educate yourself a little bit. And I'm always a believer, I'm in Oklahoma. I grew up in Oklahoma. I'm kind of in a certain way. I'm kind of, my children say you're just kind of a country person, Dad. And I kind of am, little hard work, little discipline, little knowledge. It goes a long, long way. And there is no easy solution, but that doesn't mean you can't do it.
Right.
It takes some effort and some knowledge. And it takes also some humility that when you don't know, to look for the knowledge, right? And then you can. I have so many small businesses. My wife always gives me a hard time because I'll get love letters from people who've read my book. They'll say, hey, I went on my website and I changed my title tags to say Pizza Houston, Italian Food Houston, Catering Houston. And suddenly I got 5 web inquiries the next week. I've never gotten a single inquiry from my website ever. And then I fixed this and I did. And I love you, Jason. I worship you. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it's not like some rocket science that I told him. It's very simple, practical stuff. And that has a huge impact. Now, there's more advanced, obviously, more competitive. If you're a personal injury lawyer, God help you, because that's a very competitive industry.
Right.
Realtor, very competitive, right? But if you're in a niche, niches are, riches are in the niches. So it depends. But I've beaten that dead horse enough. Simple stuff.
Certainly, but certainly if you are a niche and you focus in on what it is your core business is, then you can really, I think, really rise up pretty quick.
What you can, and you make a big impact.
Yeah. What is explain AdWords, because again, that's another one of those things you hear, but
yeah.
So a person coming in and saying, "Oh, we've got to apply for the social media or for Google AdWords. We got to do," and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So AdWords, Google has rebranded it as Google Ads just to drive us insane, because they have a department at Google which is like, how can we name things in really hard to say, stupid, difficult formats? And so they took AdWords, which was easy to say and easy to deal with, and they called it Google Ads. So if you write a book, you have to say Google Ads is the Google product, and it's just a horrible, rotten, no good name that they've come up with. So just heads up, because I get hate mail. It's not AdWords anymore, it's Google Ads. I know that. So AdWords is the easy way to say it, but it is technically called Google Ads. Okay.
Fair enough.
So fair enough, right? What is it? So back to brass tacks. You own a pizza restaurant. You want people to find you when they're in Houston and they put in Pizza Houston. There's 2 ways to get to the top. You can do it for free through organic, through SEO. Pro is doesn't cost money. Con is it's harder, it takes more discipline, takes effort, etc. SEO generally higher return on investment, but it's longer. AdWords, you pay. So you pay Google, and it's an if-then statement. If they enter the word pizza and they are in Houston, then show my ad. So all AdWords is, really the core product of Google Ads is, if someone searches for X, then show my ad. They see the ad, they click on the ad, they end up my website, they become a conversion. That's the core function of AdWords. Now there's the Google Display Network and remarketing and YouTube and all this other stuff. But AdWords in a nutshell is paying Google to show your ad, and it's an if-then statement. That's all it is. Now there's a lot of learning because it's convoluted and difficult. And if I ever see a Google self-driving car, I run the other way because it's a very difficult, badly put together product. It is. I'm just going to be honest with people. I own an iPhone because I don't like Google user interfaces. They're terrible. So it's hard. You have to learn the interface, and it's a little clunky and weird and cumbersome.
Does it work?
And there's tricks to it, and it works great. Yeah, if you know what you're doing, you do a lot with it.
Okay. And
you know where it really works, and heads up, things have changed. The phone. So if you go on your mobile phone, Do it right now. Take out your phone, type in pizza, and you're going to see ad, 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 ad.
Right.
And then you're going to see the local pack, and then you're going to see organic. So Google has done a great job, in air quotes, of pushing all of the organic free stuff down off the page on the phone. So for many clients, the highest value thing to do first is simple SEO optimization. The second highest thing to do is advertise on the phone.
Oh, so you can separate it from phone versus computer?
Correct. You can just, there's a little bit in there. You can be just on the phone for your keywords. If you're geographic, especially, in your geographic area. So I have a love-hate relationship with AdWords, right? I mean, I really think there's a lot of power in it. It's a very difficult user interface, I think, kind of by design.
Okay, well, so that begs a question then. So as a business owner, you really would have to know where your customers are searching for you. Are they searching on their phones? Are they searching on their computers?
There's a Google product for that, Google Analytics, right? Once you get Google Analytics, you can do a little reporting and you can see, are they on the phone? Are they on the desktop? Are they in Houston? Are they in Dallas? Are they all over the country? It's all kind of an iterative process, optimize the website, run Google Analytics, do a little advertising, run Google Analytics, learn, like, where are my customers? What are they doing? And then once you've got that little ziggy zaggy thing going, you're constantly improving. Back to physical fitness, it's a little bit of exercise, a little bit of weight training, and then you're just constantly learning to move towards your goal. And it's zigging and zagging.
Do you have a sense of what that costs? I mean, I guess it depends on the kind of volume of. I mean, if you're a pizza business, I guess your cost could be pretty high, because that's every Friday, Saturday night people are Googling. I mean, there's lots of ways to look at costs. So first and foremost, with AdWords, you want to advertise, it's if-then statements. You want to advertise only on the things that really are your customers, and that's part of the art, is getting out the noise, getting out the garbage. And then the way to look at it is, are you making money off of those clicks? So what? You could get in real trouble there and spend money that you don't want to spend.
Yes, on my list of problems with Google is the way they've designed the interface is very difficult for average people. So many people have this bad experience. They start it, they lose a bunch of money, because they don't understand it. And Google, unfortunately, has done a terrible, rotten, no good, horrible job at explaining it. They lose a bunch of money, and then they go, it sucks, I hate it, I never do it again. And of things that Google could do to improve their business is improve that first relationship. Now, if you know what you're doing, you can get in there and you can make money on it, and you can be pretty happy with it.
Okay.
That's the,
How do you learn? Does one of your books cover that?
I have a book on AdWords. Again, there are some web tutorials. There are some Google tutorials on AdWords. They're okay. It's kind of like Google's kind of like a used car salesman. Don't believe everything they tell you, They're selling you, so they tend to overextend it, but some basic stuff. I think the most important takeaway for a business, I would say, in AdWords, and here's some takeaways. So one, networks. There's what's called the Google Search Network. That's Google. So you want to be on the Google Search Network. You do not want to be on Google Search Partners. They suck. Say no. Okay. You do not want to be on the Google Display Network. It sucks. Say no. I'm speaking crudely, but yes, and I'm going to get hate mail. Whatever, advanced. Simple. Just be on Google. Don't be on search, what's called the search partners. Don't be on the display network. God help you. Do not be on the display network. That's high value. Second takeaway, know your keywords. Is it pizza? Is it pizzeria? Is it Italian? And then related to that, your match types.
Let me get a little professional advice then. So if I'm a small and medium-sized business coach, what do you think my AdWords would be in Washington, D.C.? What should they be?
Probably business coach, business mentoring, business mentor, entrepreneurship coach,
business advisor or something.
Business advisor, probably business coach. I mean, start simple, business. And I always think of people, I say to people, like, think of it as concentric circles. So the center is hot, definitely your person, business coach. They Google business coach and they live in Washington, that is definitely your person. If they put business mentor, maybe that's a little bit farther afield. If they put, business consulting, that's huge. That could be a lot of things.
Yeah.
So often on AdWords, if you just do that core center of the circle, the hot, then that's where you start.
And you can see, can't you see where, how many times Google, I mean, that somebody's typed that in
That's right. Google will give you that data, especially once you're running. They'll give you your impression data, your click-through data, your conversion data. You can do a lot of to Google's credit, and I'm not a Google hater, there's a lot of great data that you can get to as to what that's going. But back to match types, just a heads up, somebody's listening. Go to Google, type in AdWords match types, and really understand what those match types are, because that's an area where people get into what I call a gotcha. They put the wrong match type in, and Google runs away with their money, and everybody ends up hating each other. And I don't like it when people hate each other. People hate Google, Google hates you. Everyone hates each other because it's a bad experience. But if you have strong match types, in your case, you put a plus business plus coach, right? That's the match type.
Mm-hmm.
You do really well. And a geo-target it to people near you if that's where your business is. So there's a lot you can do. You have to learn a little bit.
Yeah, you just have to study. You have to. I mean, it seems like it's something you have to just learn, right?
A little bit, and it's not that hard. And I don't want to plug my own books. People buy my books, whatever. There are people who explain. I always use analogies like, can you go to Las Vegas and play poker without understanding the rules? Yeah, sure. You lose all your money, right? Yeah. Or you can do a little bit of research and learn what a full house is versus a pair, and and you'll do a lot better with a little research, right?
Yeah.
So same thing, right? Can you set up AdWords without paying any attention? Yeah, you can. You can lose all your money. Google's happy to take all your money.
Yeah, they'll do
a little research, and you can be much better at it.
What is there a let's take my example for example. For a second, what should I expect to spend to get that person to click on my ad or my link?
Yeah, right. So that's going to vary based on the industry. So the way to think about that is the more narrow, the more niche-y, the less competitive something is, the less you have to pay.
Okay.
So I did a consulting project a few years back for a company. They were elevator consultants. But who knew, right? I mean, but it makes sense, right? There's a lot of elevators.
Sure.
Elevators are a big cost center for businesses.
Sure.
So they wanted to rank for elevator consulting, very narrow. It didn't cost them very much. It was like a couple $1,000 a month, even less than that. Running ads, doing some SEO. Everybody's happy. They're ranking. It's very niche-y. Mm-hmm. If you're just a generic realtor, that is, Houston, we got a problem. Yeah. There's a lot of realtors. They all look the same. It's very competitive. Right. That's where riches are in the niches. So the more niche-y you make it, the more efficient it is.
Okay.
That's why I always say to people, like, where are your niches? Where's your special sauce? Look deep into your soul and find that niche that you really service. And that's where you're going to make your money. And in that case, most of my regular run-of-the-mill small businesses, couple $1,000 a month in AdWords, couple $1,000 a month in fees for SEO. Do it yourself. Depends.
And it pays for itself. And it pays for itself. I would imagine.
It does. You do it right? That's the goal, right? You want to spend $1 and make $1.50. That's the goal, and you can do that. But I think one of the mistakes I find most common with entrepreneurs is they haven't looked deep into their soul and figured out, this is my niche, these are my people, this is what I'm selling, and you have to focus, right? And that's where people, I think, really have a lot of what I consider like pre-problems, right? Yeah. Before you get into AdWords, before you get into SEO, what are you selling and who really wants it? And niche is so valuable for most entrepreneurs.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you're a small business, you don't need to be broadcasting globally and nationally, right? You need to.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, even like look at Facebook. Oh, Facebook. Facebook started with Harvard, right? It was basically, a Harvard-based system of what do people look like, and to be honest, who was sexy and who wasn't sexy. That's how it started. And then Facebook went from Harvard to other universities, and then from universities to the general public. So even Facebook, which is a huge platform, started with a niche. Amazon started with books.
Books, right.
Books only.
Yep.
So it had a very defined, it used to be Earth's biggest bookstore. That's how old I am, right? Earth's biggest bookstore. And then now it's everything. But it didn't start out with like, we do everything. It started out with, we do books.
Right.
So that's so critical.
What's worked for you in terms of, we were talking before we got on the program, and I thought it was really interesting. You were talking about what, going to the personal, to the branding side, the social marketing side for just a second. You were talking about what's worked for you in your business in terms of social and video, and do you mind talking about that for a second?
Well, I have to kill you after we talk about it, but okay.
Well,
but of course we're over the internet. So.
Don't kill me.
I will hunt you down.
No,
we can talk about that. I love working with small business. I love entrepreneurs. You're helping people build their dreams. You're helping people help other people, with their lives. So I am, and I think that's great, and I get a lot out of that. So yeah, I'll tell you everything that works.
I mean, because for me, LinkedIn has been is critical, but I'm a business coach, and so
yeah,
my target is on LinkedIn. YouTube hasn't really worked for me. Facebook hasn't really worked for me. So I don't put a lot of energy into those platforms. Is that pretty typical, you find? I mean, or I guess I find.
So some things. So I think certain platforms work really well, and you want to focus on certain platforms and do certain platforms well. So, and else I think, I'm a kind of a psychologist, even though I'm not, right? I think you've got to look at your own business, your own staff, your own employees, your own products. What do you have a competitive advantage in, right? What do you have, and then that is really important. And then who are you serving? So to use my own example, right? I have a PhD, right? I'm very proud of the fact that I never had a job for real until I was 30, right? And then I was like, crap, I have to get a job, right? Your tax dollars educated me, just heads up.
That's good.
Yeah, it was great. It cost a couple $100,000 of the U.S. taxpayers' expense. I was educated, and then I was like, oh my God, I have to get a job. So I have a competitive advantage in teaching and writing. Those are things I'm very good at, right? So for me, the number one quote unquote social network has been Amazon.
Okay.
It's hard for people to write a book, put a book together, get the book up on Amazon, optimize the book, get the reviews of the book. I have a huge competitive advantage in book production. And so Amazon has been the number one social media platform for me, for sure.
Okay.
Now within that, after Amazon, YouTube, right? And I'm always struggling with YouTube. I'm not an expert at video production, but when I write, I have a couple videos on Amazon of SEO tools. I'm actually going to do new versions of those videos. Those have been very good because people go, hey, I want to learn what SEO is. They go to YouTube, they watch me on YouTube, they like me, they hate me, whatever, they buy my book. So YouTube has been very good to me. In YouTube optimization, I'm kind of a Google person. I kind of grew up with the Google thing. So YouTube is relatively easy for me to understand. And LinkedIn has been really good too. LinkedIn has been growing as a kind of a mechanism for me to reach my customer base. Those are the ones that have really worked well, I would say. Facebook, I mean, let's face it, I do SEO, I do AdWords, I do so. Nobody wants to be on Facebook talking about AdWords. It's too boring, right? So Facebook is friends, family, fun, right? Instagram, want me to take a picture of myself writing? So Instagram doesn't work for me. If you have a business that's consumer, you got to do Instagram.
Right.
Sort of fun fact, my 16-year-old is now selling clothes on Instagram, and she's making a lot of money at it.
You're kidding me.
No, I am not kidding you. I mean, she is like a little entrepreneur out here selling clothes on Instagram. So, and it's very visual and it's very teenage oriented, and she's making a couple $100 a week right now selling clothes on Instagram.
All right, I'm making a mental note for my teenagers.
Yeah. So the point there is like, what do you sell? What is your competitive advantage in terms of content production? right? And then what networks, where, fish where the fish are, where your customers hang out.
And where you're getting engagement, right? From the content, from the content that you are producing, things that you're doing or putting out there, I guess you'd have to look at where you're getting engagement too, right?
Absolutely, where you're getting engagement. And that's back to Google Analytics. You can see, for instance, in my case, I can see who comes from YouTube and buys a book, who comes from YouTube becomes a consulting engagement, and I can learn YouTube is really high performing for me. And obviously Amazon for somebody who sells books. And you gotta, you can't be like, I want to sell books, but I don't want to do Amazon.
Let me ask.
I've worked with a lot of authors. I work with a lot of authors. Some fiction, and they're like, oh, I hate Amazon. It's taken over the world. Well, guess what? It has taken over the world.
Well, deal with it,
right? And I saw. I'm not about ethics, and we could go and redo the world in a more just and honest fashion. Well, guess what? I'm not doing that. We live in Amazon's world, and that's just what it is. If you want to sell books, you have to play with Amazon,
right?
And I'm just kind of hard-nosed about that. I mean, I understand that Amazon's a monopoly and they want to take over the world and crush everyone, but okay.
Right. It's not, yeah. It is.
I mean, that's a whole separate conversation, but that's, but I'm saying there. So like if you have an e-commerce site, the first question I was asked somebody, I have an e-commerce site, what's your Amazon strategy?
Yep.
Right? Because if it's e-commerce, it's probably Amazon, and you can't just ignore Amazon. You've got to have a strategy. Now, if you're not e-commerce, if you're B2B, like business coaching, Amazon doesn't matter to you. So you don't care.
Books. It does, because it's all part of driving traffic and building that social presence and that social.
So it does matter in that thought leadership way. That's right.
It does.
It does. So you've got to kind of, in my books, I talk about doing an audit, going through each one: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Amazon, Yelp, Airbnb. Where are your customers? What makes sense for you? What can you be doing better? And then figuring out where the high value is. Because let's face it, none of us have enough time, money, blood, sweat, and tears to do everything. So we got to figure out where's the high return on investment and focus on those platforms and those messages.
What rates it works up on Amazon? How do you, if you're an author listening, because I know when you said
how does Amazon work?
Well, when you said Amazon has been your best social network, a light bulb went off, because I pay absolutely zero attention to my Amazon author page. Right.
Yeah. Well, Amazon author page doesn't really matter very much, but yeah. So you got Amazon in a nutshell. Think about Amazon versus Google. Really easy way to understand it. So Amazon is a search engine, just like Google. People go to Amazon and they put in, dog toys, right? It's a keyword, and then things rank. They go to, so certain searches exist on Amazon. Books being an obvious example. If you want to buy a new book on marketing, you go to Amazon and you put in marketing, right? That's how it works. Okay, now look at the data that Amazon has versus Google. Okay, so keywords, they both have keywords, marketing, right? Marketing books, whatever, they have keywords. So we have all the on-page characteristics. You have to optimize your Amazon profile. You have to optimize your Amazon description. That's similar to Google on-page. Amazon doesn't really care about links. Google cares about links. So links don't matter on Amazon. Okay. What matters to Amazon? Amazon is an e-commerce site. They know what people buy. So if you want to sell a book, sell a product on Amazon, you need sales. You need sales velocity. They want things that are selling. So Amazon is a virtuous circle. The more something sells, the more it ranks. The more it ranks, the more it sells. The more it sells, the more it ranks. So you've got to get that virtuous circle going. Okay. Right. When you don't have a virtuous circle, what do? You give the product away. How do you do that? Please don't tell anyone. Right?
Okay.
You give them coupons, you give them coupon codes, you have to be a little gray, you give them some incentives to go buy the product. I've actually done experiments with Amazon. If you buy your own product, it will help it rank. So because Amazon's very sensitive.
You game it a little bit, don't you?
You have to. You have to. I mean, we're all adults here. You have to. So sales velocity is very important to Amazon. Another less nefarious example, you advertise on Google to drive traffic to Amazon to purchase your product. And you might have to do that at a loss at the beginning to get the thing going, right? What else does Amazon have? It has sales, it has reviews. Google doesn't really have reviews outside of local, right? So that means that Amazon, a product that has a lot of reviews is a better product than a product that doesn't have a lot of reviews. So you have to get reviews. Now, you go to the dark side and buy Amazon reviews. That's totally illegal, and people do that. I'm not recommending that you do that. But if you read my books say, take a survey, write me a review, reach out to me, ask me a question. Anyone who ever sends me a question, hey, I'm reading your book and I learned blah, 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 and I'll answer their question and I'll say, by the way, do me a favor, write me a review on Amazon. It really helps me. So there's things you can do to increase their reviews to help. And think about who people look. They look on Amazon. Does this product have a lot of reviews? Oh, it does. I'll buy it. So you're trying to juice your reviews. So I'm constantly begging people for reviews who write me questions, love letters. Oh, I used your book. I got a lot out of it. Do me a favor, write me a review. No, it's not illegal. It's not even against Amazon terms of service. I'm just like, hey, write me a review. You loved my book. And oh, okay, I didn't think about that. And then they do it. So you're manipulating the Amazon system, putting your best foot forward, then you start to rank. And then once you get a virtuous circle, you're ranking, you're selling, you're getting reviews, you've got sales velocity, you're just going to town at that point.
Right.
Now that's different than Google, right? Google doesn't have that data.
But you got to keep at that, because everybody else is trying to do the same thing, right? So
yes, I'm sorry to tell people you have to work for things in life.
Oh, man.
I know. There's a lot of people on YouTube. I love some of these people on YouTube who are just like, they're in their Lamborghinis and they're, you know, they shall remain nameless. I love them all. They're in their Lamborghinis and their big houses, and everything.
Private jets.
So I'm like, I admit, some people who are smarter than me can do things without working. I'm just a dumb okie, and we have to work for a living, and you do have to stay at it. But you have to like it. I mean, like what you're selling and stuff. But yeah, that's Amazon in a nutshell, right?
Yeah, well, that's really helpful and useful. Well, I don't want to hold you up anymore. And this has been great. This has been very useful, packed full of really helpful information. Let people know where they can get I know they can go to Amazon. We just finished that session.
I'm easy to find. Go to Google, type in Jason McDonald. I'm #1. I beat out a baseball player with 6-pack abs. I'm very proud of that. It dealt with a lot of my high school anxieties. You can go to Amazon, type in SEO, type in social media marketing, type in AdWords, type in marketing. Newsflash, all of my books are on page 1 on Amazon. That's an easy way to find me. And to be honest, I'm always eager to give people books who want to write reviews. So, I do everything I can to help people out. So just reach out, and I like what you're doing. I think it's important. We're just trying to empower people. A little learning, a little hard work, a little focus. So much you can do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So much. So I very much believe in empowering people. You can do a lot with just a little bit of, I'm gonna learn a little bit about this, and okay, get out.
Well, I'll put a link to the Amazon page into the books in the article or in the feed here when we get finished. And I also just
is it going to be recording and send me an email so I can put it on my social?
Absolutely, we'll do that.
Awesome.
And, I think we just got one of the books in our Forbes review that
thank you for that.
Yep, you're welcome. What I found about the books were I think they're very easy to read, and I like the guides. I like the things that you can do to make it sort of make it easier. So thank you for that, because that's been very helpful, and I've learned a lot. Learned enough to be dangerous, I think. Or get myself in trouble. I don't know. But anyway, thank you so much. This has been the Power Lunch on our Wednesday afternoon, and thank you for spending it with us. If you want to check out I've got Cynthia. I've got Cynthia. Oh gosh, I'm blank. Johnson tomorrow afternoon on the Power Lunch, and we're going to talk about personal branding a little bit. But you can go to the website powerlunch.live to find out our schedule of guests. We've got a great schedule the rest of the month. And if you want us at your conference or event, please make sure to get in touch with me via LinkedIn. We can broadcast live from your event and have a lot of fun there doing that. And we can make that happen. Just get in touch with us via the website or through direct message on LinkedIn. And thanks for spending your afternoon with us.